Everyone, thanks for joining us here one more time on 1045theteam.com. The academic year almost ready to start again, and that means one thing. We're talking about UAlbany right now. When we do that, we talk to Zach By, one of the lead broadcasters of UAlbany Athletics. And Zach, big day yesterday for UA. They announced a new athletic director. It's Mark Benson, formerly of Old Dominion. It's early, but tell us what you know about him.
Well, what we know about Mark is coming in. So first of all, he was not a name that was out there for the past year or so, kind of came, late in the race. And from everything that I understand, it's just the past couple weeks that the search firm that Albany was using contacted him. And, what we know is that he did a terrific job at Old Dominion, who made leaps and bounds in the better part of the last 15 years as an athletic program, especially in college football, and starting a college football program and jumping up to the FBS level within just 5 years. And Mark had a lot to do with that, especially in terms of fundraising and things of that nature. That's more his expertise is the fundraising and the sales part of it. And that's a big advantage for Albany right now because the dollars and cents over there at the athletic department is part of the story here. I think he's going to spearhead that charge, and he's got a sales background. Mark does, so I'm sure it's going to be a lot of at least to start is how can we drum up financial means to push these athletic programs who have already had Division I success, but how can we push it into the future and reach that next realm of success at the Division I level? And I think that's what he's brought here from Old Dominion to do.
What is next for UAlbany Athletics? I mean, he's taking over for Lee McElroy, who helped see UAlbany into the Division I era. UAlbany just this past year, 8 conference championships, I believe 5 NCAA tournament appearances. You look at the Thompsons' national notoriety put UAlbany on the map. So what is next, and what can Mark Benson do to really pick up where Lee McElroy left off?
That's the real question, Brady. I mean, UAlbany doesn't need a kickstart in terms of athletic success. You're talking about 8 conference champions this year alone, 4 teams competing in the NCAA tournament. You talked about the success, the national ranking of the lacrosse program. UAlbany men's basketball, back-to-back NCAA tournaments, women's basketball, back-to-back NCAA tournaments. So he's not coming in here, Mark Benson, the new athletic director, to revive or jumpstart these UAlbany sports. They're already in what I've been calling a sort of golden age in terms of UAlbany athletics, and they won the Commissioner's Cup yet again this past year, which means they're the most successful team within the America East Conference. I think now Mark Benson, the hire as the new athletic director, is going to try to couple that on-field and on-court success with attendance, with affecting the community. I mean, you look at the football program. The football program is now in one of the best FCS leagues in the country that produces NFL players, and when they go on the road, they'll play in front of 20,000 people, and when they come home, play in front of 5,000, 6,000 people. I think that's a challenge for Mark Benson and this hire from UAlbany and say, okay, how can we sell this football program? How can we get 10,000 people at Bob Ford Field every time UAlbany has a Saturday home game? How can we get the Steph Q Arena filled every time the reigning America East champion of men's basketball program plays at home? I think that's the next challenge for him, and a big reason that he was hired, because if you look at his time at Old Dominion, the gifts and endowments to the athletic department doubled during his time. I mean, he was doing a terrific job. He had a handful of a minimum of $1 million donations. They sold the names of the stadiums. They sold the rights to the locker room. They sold the rights to the training facility, all in an effort to drum up finances for the athletic department, which they poured back into the athletic department. And he worked closest with the football program. And during the 5 years that Old Dominion was playing FCS football, they sold out every single game. He had a strategic plan to sell season tickets and things of that nature. So that is the next step. It's to couple the success that UAlbany has already had and take the effect that they have in upstate New York and double it in terms of butts in the seats, in terms of dollars and cents and things of that nature.
Lee McElroy steps down in June. This announcement of Mark Benson as athletic director comes at the end of August, less than 1 week until class starts. Has UAlbany, are they behind the 8 ball at all going into the athletic department going into this academic year?
Well, that's a good question. I wouldn't say behind the 8 ball because there's some smart folks over there, and they hired one of the most predominant search firms as far as college athletics go in the United States. So they knew what they were doing, they've had people in place to sort of run itself over there for the month or two that McElroy has not been working as closely with the athletic department. But you're right. I mean, the academic school year is about to start. The football team is going to kick off their season on the 30th on Saturday at home against Holy Cross. So this is just days away now. So I'm sure he's being brought up to speed on just about everything logistical that they can possibly do. But as far as behind the 8 ball, I think they have enough smart folks over there working in the athletic department that will bring him up to speed and that have been doing their diligence in the wake of the hire.
Zach By, one of the voices of UAlbany Athletics. We'll hear him all throughout the season. Zach, we'll get you out of here on this. We're talking about Mark Benson, new athletic director at UAlbany. Now, the rumors circulated when Lee McElroy left that he did not have a great relationship or had a different vision than the new President Jones over at UAlbany. What does Mark Benson's relationship have to be with those higher than him?
Just as a starter, as a base coat, I think a preliminary thing here going into this was that he had to have a good relationship with President Jones, and I think that's the bottom of the pyramid here, and the success moving forward in that athletic department is predicated on a good relationship with President Jones, and I think they have that here. He was, a big part of the decision-making process, the biggest part of the decision-making process after the firm that brought the names to President Jones. So you can be sure that a relationship has already been cultivated leading up to this point, and I'm sure for the next 2 to 3 weeks, maybe even a month, they'll be working hand in hand every single day. And this is a new position for Mark Benson, too. He's never been an athletic director, so I think he's going to rely a lot on President Jones for guidance as well. I think that's going to be a good relationship from everything that I understand. It is, there is a little bit of history there and good things moving forward from everything I've heard inside and around the program between President Robert Jones and Mark Benson for sure.
Zach, thanks for being with us today on 1045theteam.com. Again, rest those vocal cords because you're going to get a lot of work over the next 6 to 8 months, and we look forward to talking to you soon and talking more UAlbany.
I look forward to coming back on. Thank you so much.